Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I'm Makeda Valletta, also known as the Body Scientist. And in case you're unfamiliar with me, I am a holistic sports nutritionist. I am a strength and conditioning coach with a background in exercise and sports science. And I'm very much into local foods and supporting local farmers and sustainable agriculture, okay? And I'm live on my Instagram page. I will save this and repost it to my YouTube page, The Body Scientist. So make sure you follow me in both places, okay? Because I don't always post the same thing in both places. But for those of you who follow me, you also know that I travel a lot. I'm from New York City, but I live in Chicago. And I travel in the country and out of the country a lot. And no matter where I travel to, I'm always looking for quality food. So no matter where I go, I'm always analyzing the access that people have to a healthy, active lifestyle, okay? Healthy, active lifestyle. So there's a few things I'm looking at. I'm looking at the access to good quality food. And that's whether it be in a supermarket or, restaurants. I'm looking at, the air quality as well. I'm looking at how physically active that place is, how much is ingrained into the culture, how easy it is for somebody to live an active lifestyle. So these are all things that I'm looking at when I travel, because this is my life, regardless of what I do as a profession. It's important to me. So when I go places, I'm looking for the best quality food, because there's certain things I'm not going to eat, or I need to, move my body a certain way, right? So with that being said, I just got back from being in Philadelphia for about a week. And Philly is a city that I've been to many times. I have family there. I spent a lot of time there as a kid. As an adult, every time I was in Philly, it was very in and out. And I would come to Philly to work with photographers, do photo shoots and stuff like that. And I always noticed there was huge food deserts. Now, my mom and other people would tell me that Philly was known for its food, but I used to always think, but where's the food? Because when I would be in Philly, I would never see any food. A photographer would pick me up from the train station or the bus stop, and we would drive to the studio, and the whole ride I wouldn't see any food. I'd be shooting for 12 hours. I wouldn't see any food. And of course, I would see food on South Street in a few particular areas. I remember 20 years ago, coming to Philly for a conference, I was staying in downtown Philadelphia. This is 20 years ago, in a hotel. And I remember it was a Sunday morning, and me and my friend were hungry. Before we went back to New York, we wanted to eat. And I remember everything was closed. It was like the whole city was in church. Now, I don't think that's the case now, but I remember that was 20 years ago. So, to me, I always thought of it as a place where there was food in very few parts of Philly. Now, a lot of cities in America have food deserts. Oakland has food deserts. Chicago for sure has food deserts. Detroit is one big food desert. So food deserts are not unique to Philly, but a lot of cities have them. That's one thing that makes New York different, is that we don't have that. Even if we have neighborhoods where it's not all organic food, we have food. We have supermarkets, we have restaurants, we have we have cleaners, we have barbershops. We don't have resource deserts like you'll see in other cities. So, but the one thing I always liked about Philly was the fact that you could easily get raw milk. So those of you who follow me, I'm a raw milk drinker. I've been drinking raw milk religiously probably since 2004, 2005. So at least 18, 19 years I've been drinking raw milk. And I drink it, whatever state I go to, if I can get it. The raw milk laws are very much like the cannabis laws. They vary from state to state, and raw milk is a potent medicine, as is cannabis, right? But Pennsylvania, Philly, is one of the easiest places to get raw milk because of the Amish. So there's several places in Philadelphia where you can get raw milk. You can go to Reading Terminal. The Amish have a stand there, but they close at 3 p.m. This time I got it from a co-op called Mariposa. Mariposa is Spanish from butterfly. Mariposa Co-op. They had raw milk, and they tell you exactly what the farm came from. Mom's Supermarket, which is also in a lot of other states. Mom's in Philadelphia sells raw milk. And also, there was a supermarket I went to one time in a Russian part of town. I don't remember where it was, but this is some years ago. And they had like 3-4 different kinds of raw milk, okay? So it's very easy to get raw milk in Philly. Probably like the easiest place, okay? California can be pretty easy too, but very easy in Philly. And so I love that. So there's easy access to raw dairy. So that's excellent. Even though most people are unaware of that, and unaware of how medicinal it is. But it's everywhere in Philadelphia. Philly, is hilly. I like the fact that it's hilly. Okay, so and there's a lot of stairs. Almost every house you see, you have to walk upstairs. You might have to walk up a hill and stairs. And then you might have to walk up another set of stairs. And then a lot of the houses in Philly, it might be like 3 stories. So you're going to be walking up 1-2 flights of stairs over and over again. So that's good, and as you age, that's why I think aging in a city is good, because it forces people to walk. People who live in a walkable city where they have restaurants and stores by them and they can just walk, they're more likely to walk. And then when you're in a house where you have to walk up the stairs to go to the bathroom, and you have to walk up the stairs to go to bed, and you have to walk upstairs to get dressed, you're going to walk up the stairs a lot more, okay? And most Americans don't walk up any stairs. They just roll up out of their house into their car in the parking lot. They don't walk anywhere. And walking on flat land is nothing compared to walking upstairs or hills, okay? Philly has Fairmount Park, which is 10 times the size of Central Park. Now, Central Park is pretty huge, okay? Pretty huge. But Prospect Park not Prospect Park, sorry. Prospect Park's in Brooklyn. Fairmount Park is over 10 times the size of Central Park. There's so much you can do in that park. There's nothing you can't do in that park. So to me, that's a check for living a healthy, active lifestyle. To me, I'm a park person over the beach, okay? There's so much you can do in the park. There's a lot you can do in the beach too, but me personally, I prefer a nice park. And so, but it's not just Fairmount Park. There's a lot of nice parks in Philly that were very natural. Okay, like New York has a lot of natural parks. What I mean by that is parks that look like you just stepped into the woods. You have levels to it. You have old trees, not these little strategically planted trees. You have wildness, the bush. Like you could just disappear off into the bush, okay? So there's a lot of that, all right? But, when I was there, it was really hot, and there's a lot of corner stores there. But unlike New York, and this is one way that New York is unique, is that no matter what city I've been to in the world, where I'm in London, Paris, or cities in the U.S., when you go into the corner store bodegas, they don't have good choices in them. They all have Gatorade and soda and some other fake juice with artificial colors and flavors. But, in New York, you can walk into a lot of delis and bodegas and corner stores, and they sell raw coconut water, or they're selling 3 different kinds of coconut water. They're selling watermelon juice. They're selling other natural juices. I don't drink Gatorade. Gatorade is poison. I absolutely don't drink Gatorade, okay? But I remember driving in Philly. I was like in North Philly, somewhere else, and it was like, well, first I was in a nice part of Philly, but I go to like, a Walgreens to get a pint of ice cream. They had 1 pint of Haagen-Dazs in the whole drugstore, which is crazy to me. Going to this other drugstore to get something to drink because I was like so thirsty. I'm like, okay, the only thing that a Walgreens or CVS will have that I'll drink is Simply Lemonade, or, they usually have Vita Coco coconut water, and I don't like that brand. But what I do when I have no choice, I mix it with Simply Lemonade. But I go into this drugstore, they didn't have anything in there. All they had was soda and Gatorade in the whole store. And there's no other store. See, like, if that were something like that were to happen in New York, you'd have all these other options of stores, like on the same block across the street. Philly's not like that, which a lot of cities aren't like that. So there is a food desert problem for sure. There is a food desert and a resource desert issue. And, there are some very nice parts, but I find that, outside the access to the, it's good that they have the food co-ops, and that's a thing there. It's excellent that you have access to the raw milk. You have medicinal cannabis. Okay, they don't have recreational cannabis. They have medicinal cannabis, and I don't have my medical card yet. I should, because I do use it medicinally. But you have to pay all this money just to get a medical card, I do use it medicinally, but because I don't have a medical card, I just drove over to South Jersey, okay? Because South Jersey does have recreational cannabis, and there's plenty of dispensaries around the area in South Jersey and medical ones in Pennsylvania. So that's another good thing about living a healthy lifestyle. To me, access to cannabis is important. And that's one of the things that I feel like the U.S. has, over a lot of places in the world. People think about healthcare, they just think about how you get treated when you go to the hospital. But for me, healthcare, what you really need to be focused on is how to prevent going to the hospital with a chronic problem in the first place. And that happens with how you're treating yourself, what you're eating, what you're doing with your body. And so, being in a country where you don't have access to cannabis and it's illegal, and you have to use pharmaceuticals, then I'd rather take a bad healthcare system and access to cannabis and good food than the other way around, okay? So I just wanted to say that about Philly. I feel like I've walked up a lot of stairs, I've walked up a lot of hills, even had to walk upstairs to go to Whole Foods. Lots of raw milk. There's serious food deserts. I want to explore the city more, but Fairmount Park is great for physical activity, and all the other parks. It's a walkable city, and again, you're walking up hills, because walking up flatland is nothing. You're not doing anything until you start walking up hills. So, I haven't taken public transportation in Philly probably for over 20 years, but they have it, and it's pretty decent, I guess. I don't know, I'm not from there, but it's a very walkable city. So for those reasons, that's what I have to say about it in terms of having access to a healthy, active lifestyle in Philadelphia. I think there's a good number of gyms. I work at a LA Fitness. They had a couple, but that may not be a big gym there because it's not a big gym in New York. We just have a couple LA Fitnesses in New York. So there could be other gyms like New York. We have New York Sports Club. They have Philadelphia Sports Club. Maybe that's more common. I don't know. The other thing, I noticed when I was in Target, there were a lot of obese people. And I kept thinking, damn, there's a lot of obese people. So I said, let me Google and see what the obesity percentage is in Philly. And I looked it up, and it said 67%. 67% of adults are obese. And then I think it said like 40-something% of kids. And that's really bad, okay? And I noticed that, I was noticing how big a lot of people were. And that's what happens. It's not, people that get like that, it's not about, they just overate. No, it's the processed food and the food deserts that cause that. People don't have access to food, and what they do have access to is the cheapest stuff with all the chemicals and hormone disruptors and sugar and artificial chemicals that are totally messing up their signaling and their metabolism. Some of them, their mothers ate that when she was in the womb. So sounds like Detroit. Detroit's worse than Philly. Like, Detroit's a lot worse on a lot of levels. Like, to me, Philly still has some beauty. No offense, Detroit. I love Detroit people, but the city, no. And there's more stuff in Philly. It's not as bad as Detroit. But, it's not as bad. But, and more trees. There are certain areas of Philly that's tree-lined. To me, having that greenery and the trees is really, really important for air quality. That's important, so it does have that. The obesity is out of control, though. And I know that's a direct result of the poison they put in the hood and make things not accessible to people. But the thing, too, though, you see that in every hood. So I don't understand why, like, in certain places you have this big obesity problem, because New York doesn't. And there's people in New York that live in the hood and eat a whole bunch of crap, too. And you just don't see that level of obesity. I don't know if it's just because New Yorkers move around more. I don't know. But there's definitely that issue in Philly. So anyhow, I'm going to let you guys go. I was supposed to be going to a dance class this evening. But instead I'm going to do some studying. Got schoolwork to do. Got a week left in school. I'm always available for personal evaluations and sessions. So if you're ever interested in working with me, just hit me up, hit my inbox, email me directly. thebodyscientist81@gmail.com. Follow me on YouTube, follow me on IG. And I'll see you guys later. And if there's anything you want to share with me about Philly, go ahead, okay? Have a good day, people. Bye.